Hey everybody, this is Erica, the technology nerd, likes to film stuff, and I just wanted to take a small look at the Xperia X Performance, give some of my thoughts about it. So, along with this, we see released the Xperia X and also the Xperia XA. The Xperia X is lower spec than this, and then you have the XA, which is even lower spec with only a 720p display. So this is the highest ender, the Performance. The Snapdragon 820 SoC is inside of this. The first thing that I wanted to point out right here is that this is a press unit, so the firmware on here is not final. And also, I wasn't able to install some applications on it, such as some benchmarking applications. They just don't want you to do that right now. And supposedly this has a fingerprint sensor, but when I go underneath the settings for lock screen and security, I'm not seeing that option here, although on the floor I did see it having that option, although I wasn't able to test it. Aha! So I found the Qualcomm booth where there is a Sony Xperia X, and I can test out the fingerprint sensor over here. So I'm happy to report that it seems to work pretty well. So maybe they've improved it since the Xperia Z5, because fingerprint sensor was a train wreck on the Xperia Z5. So that's nice. So we're just gonna look at this a little bit. The thing is that this device really confuses me. Just like it's confusing everyone else. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is this supposed to be a replacement line to the Z series? It just feels like a very repackaged Z5 to me. The Z5 had the Snapdragon 810 inside of this. This has the 820. So arguably we might have better performance with this, but because I can't really test benchmarks due to not being able to install anything, I can't really say much. But we can at least look around it a little bit. Here we have a Galaxy S6. You can see for size-wise, it is a really nice size. We've got a 5-inch IPS display on this. So this has a 1080p display. I really wish that they would have bumped the specs up to Quad HD, but at 5 inches, Quad HD really isn't needed anyway. This already has a PPI of 441 pixels per inch, so it looks really nice and sharp as it is. And one thing I was specifically asking for from Sony was to get rid of the glass back, and they finally did. The rest of the design of the phone looks fairly similar to me. We got this nice aluminum backing here. It's got that nice matte finish, although this color is quite confusing. They call this lime gold. It almost looks like a pea green, although in this lighting I can't really tell. But there are some more nice colors. There's kind of a salmon pinkish. There's a black one and a white one. This does feel really nice in the hand. Those edges are very nice and rounded. You have a micro USB charging port here and a microphone on the bottom. Then on the left-hand side, you have your SD card slot, and you also have your SIM card slot. On the right-hand side is the dedicated camera execution key. You have the volume rocker. You have your power button, and also it has a fingerprint sensor. On the top is a standard headphone jack and also another microphone. Now on the back, we have a 23 megapixel camera, f2.0 aperture lens. Now oddly, I have not been able to see any 4K recording mode, so this doesn't seem to be able to record in 4K, although you can record 1080p at 60 frames per second. You have a single LED flash. Really not sure why there is no 4K. 4K, no 4K. Well, the Xperia Z5 had some overheating issues with 4K anyway. On the front here is a 13 megapixel camera. That's nice to have a 13 megapixel camera on the front. You have our receiver and proximity sensor, ambient light sensor, and here is another speaker here at the bottom, so it is stereo speakered. Also true to the Xperia line, this is water resistant, IP68 certified, so you've got dust proof and also can go down to 1.5 meters for a half hour. So we have 32 gigabytes of internal storage, 3 gigabytes of RAM. Now turning this on, we've got Android Marshmallow on here, so Android 6.0. Taking a look around the interface, this is standard Sony fare. So, like so. It's a very nice and zippy phone, very quick to respond phone. So the biggest things really to note about this phone is just really the appearance of it. It's nice and thin. And also you've got a cool feature underneath the camera. It's called Predictive Hybrid Autofocus. So you can track moving objects. You can track them in video and also when taking pictures as well. I tried to go over and test this feature out on this unit, but this is not finalized software. So it didn't do so well, but the units they had over there were doing just fine with it. They have little balls that are moving very, very quickly. And indeed, it does its very best to track them. Another thing that Sony says is that this is a very, very fast to execute camera and to take a picture. So 0.6 seconds, they say. So Sony says that with quick startup, lightning speed, hybrid autofocus, and faster image processing, you can capture the most spontaneous moments. So let's do that. On and snap. So is that in focus? So it looks a little bit soft. How does it know what it's looking at anyway? You can turn off the ability to snap the picture as soon as you touch this camera button so that you can do it yourself. But just to execute it, it's very, very nice and fast. It's kind of bugging out on me. All right, let's do this. See how fast that goes. So you can see that it did catch that there in the background. Yeah, that's pretty cool. One more time.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay?
Yes. So is it trying to capture a couple of frames beforehand? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So another cool thing that Sony talks about with this phone is they've got the 13 megapixel camera on the front. This is what they call one of their low light sensors. So you've got a really high resolution camera on the front. They can take pretty decent pictures in low lighting. Of course, I can't tell. This is probably one of the brightest environments possible. But hey, so really, you've just got better cameras on this thing. Now looking at the camera settings, just to prove to you that there is no 4K, you can see that you don't see the 4K setting underneath here. If you go underneath video, you have options for video resolution, including Full HD at 60 and 30 frames per second. Now you have that object tracking, but you see that there is no 4K, though you do have their steady shot, their intelligent active image stabilization, which works incredibly well. I really have to give Sony props for that. Otherwise, this really looks like an Xperia Z5. Same standard fare, very similar interface. There's not too much to show here because of that. I am happy to see that this is performing nice and smoothly. On the Xperia Z5, I had the premium to test. The camera software was really pretty sluggish. And right now, it seems to be all right. Seems to be pretty quick to me. So we'll have to see how that holds up over time. So pardon my confusion, but I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about this device. I think that it certainly looks nice. Not this color anyway, but I think that the look of the device certainly looks nice. I wish that I had more to test out for you guys. You can go underneath CPU X, take a look at some things, because we couldn't get CPU Z on here. That's one of the blocked applications. So indeed running Marshmallow, 3 gigabytes of RAM. You've got 20.21 gigabytes of internal storage that seem to be available to the user. You've got a 2,700 milliamp hour battery inside of this. And Sony says that this is supposed to get really good battery life. So my thought is that it's cute. I would like to see a more non-prototyped version of this, though. So let me know what you guys think. This has been Erica, the technology nerd, likes to film stuff. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think about this guy. And, well, that's it.